The first time I saw her, she was sitting alone at the edge of the observation deck on the orbital station Aurora 7. Everyone else avoided her, giving her wide berth as if proximity to her were dangerous. And maybe it was. She wasn't like any alien species I'd ever studied. Her skin shimmered with subtle, iridescent patterns that shifted depending on the angle of light, and her eyes glowed faintly with a color I couldn't name. She moved with fluid precision, as though gravity itself respected her form, yet there was a quiet vulnerability about her posture that drew me in. The crew whispered rumors. Some called her the Outcast, others the Shimmering One. She had arrived months ago on a diplomatic mission, but no one had managed to approach her. Not a single human had dared speak to her. Not until that day. I wasn't trying to be heroic. I just couldn't resist. She was leaning over the railing, staring at the blue and purple swirl of the planet below, lost in thought. I stepped forward, my boots clicking on the metallic deck. "You know," I said casually, trying to sound nonchalant, "you're beautiful." She froze. For a long, impossible moment, she didn't move. The shimmering in her skin paused, almost like the universe itself had held its breath. I expected her to turn away, to retreat, or even to recoil in fear. But instead, she looked at me. Truly looked. The silence stretched. The hum of the station's engines faded into nothing. I could feel the weight of every eye on us, every crew member silently wondering if I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life. Then very slowly she spoke. Her voice was soft, melodic, but layered with strange harmonics that resonated in my chest. "Human, you mean this?" "Yes," I said, nodding. I just thought you should know." Her eyes widened, not in fear, but in something I could only describe as astonishment. No one has ever said this. Not since I arrived. Her voice was almost trembling. I smiled nervously. "Well, you deserve to hear it." She remained quiet, studying me as if trying to decode some hidden truth within my words. The shimmering in her skin began again, faintly pulsating, slower this time. Then she did something I did not expect. She smiled. A slow, radiant smile that lit up the entire observation deck. "You are different," she whispered. "Most fear what they do not understand. You do not." I laughed softly. "Guess that makes me brave? Or maybe just stubborn?" "Perhaps," she said, tilting her head. "Or perhaps curious." Curiosity. That word stuck with me. Over the next few days, I found myself drawn to her more and more. The crew still kept their distance, but she began allowing me near. We spoke. Well, I spoke mostly, and she listened, occasionally replying in ways that made my heart thrum with excitement and fear. She told me her name, Lyra. She was from a distant system, part of an alien species called the Vaelari, whose existence was largely a mystery to humanity. The Vaelari were known for their intelligence, grace, and, as I now understood, their extraordinary beauty. But Lyra herself had been shunned even among her people. Something about her, some quirk in her physiology or behavior, made her an outcast. And yet, somehow, she had found me. We began to spend hours together. I learned that she perceived time differently, could sense the faintest energy fluctuations, and understood emotions in ways that made my mind spin. I tried to teach her about humans, our cultures, our art, our music. In return, she showed me visions of distant nebulae, planets with skies that glowed with unknown light, and oceans that shimmered with bioluminescent life forms. One day, I asked her why no one approached her. "Fear," she said simply. "Fear of difference. Fear of misunderstanding. Fear of what they cannot control." I shook my head. "That's sad. But not everyone is afraid, Lyra. I'm not. You're brave, human. And that is rare. It was on the 5th day that everything changed. We were walking along a narrow observation corridor when alarms blared. Red lights flashed. The station shook violently. Sensors detected an incoming fleet of unknown ships, hostile in intent. My heart sank. No one knew what to expect. But Lyra's hand found mine, her touch sending warmth and energy coursing through me. "Do you trust me?" she asked, eyes glowing brighter. "Completely," I said without hesitation. Her smile was fleeting but radiant. Then we acted together. I didn't know what she meant until we entered the control deck. With her guidance, my human-trained instincts and her alien perception combined. Where I struggled to aim the station's defensive turrets, she guided me, predicting enemy movements with uncanny precision. Where she needed protection, I shielded her, instinctively, as if some unspoken bond had formed between us. The enemy fleet was vast, far superior in numbers, yet together we turned the tide. By the time the last ship retreated, the observation deck was silent except for our breathing. For the first time, I realized what we had, a connection beyond language, beyond species. A symbiosis of thought, action, and emotion. Later that night, we stood on the same observation deck where I first spoke my words. The stars stretched infinitely around us, and Lyra's skin glowed softly under the station's dim light. "You changed something human," she said. "You gave me a gift more precious than anything I have known." "What gift?" I asked, confused. "The gift of recognition," she whispered, "of being seen and not feared." I took a deep breath. "Lyra, you're beautiful. And not just in the way I first said it. You amaze me every day." Her eyes, those glowing galaxies, widened once more, and her form shifted slightly, almost as if the air around her vibrated in delight. "Human, your words, they are profound. I have never known such honesty, such warmth." I smiled, nervous but resolute. "Then, I guess it's not a joke that I wanted to tell you. I meant it. Every word." She reached out, placing a hand on my chest. "Then let us be allies, companions, perhaps more. Fearless together." I swallowed. "Together?" "Yes," she said simply. "In curiosity, in courage, in purpose. If you accept it." I didn't hesitate. I accept it. Fully. For a moment, the universe seemed to pause. The stars outside shimmered brighter, the station hummed softly, and I felt the pulse of life, hers and mine, intertwine. We laughed softly, tears of relief and joy mixing as Lyra's shimmering skin shifted in gentle waves. From that day forward, things changed. The crew gradually accepted her, seeing the bond between us as proof that humans and Vaelari could coexist. Lyra and I explored new parts of the galaxy together, learning, laughing, and sometimes fighting to protect one another. Months later, she presented me with a small object hovering between us. A pendant that contained a miniature nebula, swirling in colors I had never imagined. "For us," she said, "to remind you that being seen, being recognized, and being accepted is a gift that transcends worlds." I held her hand and whispered, "You really are beautiful, Lyra. Every part of you." And she smiled. Not just a shimmer, not just a glow, but a smile that radiated warmth across the universe itself. I realized then that some connections were inevitable, some bonds written into the fabric of life itself. That day, and every day after, we faced the stars together, fearless, unshakable, and united. For in a universe full of fear, prejudice, and isolation, sometimes it only takes one honest word to change everything.